Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Connor, and today we're going to be breaking down two cinematics. The first one being the announcement trailer for Winter 2025 and Spring 2026 cinematics, and the second one being a new Darktide cinematic. I promise you some glorious violence and some darn good lore. Let's go. This episode is brought to you by Mastermind Models and Miniatures. They are a phenomenal paint studio out of Huntsville, Alabama, who are waiting for your commission idea. You know darn well that you're just going to spend another fortune on plastic gray kits that are just going to sit there in your pile of shame, and it will take years to get them on the battlefield. Instead of procrastinating, let Mastermind Models and Miniatures bring your imagination to life. Go to the link down in the description below and tell them that we sent you.
This is my only chance to atone.
What were those things?
Eldari. We shall risk everything for this.
How do we fight ghosts?
Then this war will last forever. Begin the ritual. The next wave of greenskins will soon reach our world.
The Emperor will see us through this. We will not abandon these souls. You have my word. Merciful Emperor.
Games Workshop has spliced a half dozen cinematics into a single trailer, so rather than breaking them down in chronology, having us jump back and forth, I'm going to break them down by faction, starting with the most prominent, the Sisters of Battle. For the uninitiated, Sisters of Battle came into existence during the 36th millennium during what is known as the Reign of Blood. Gog Vandire seized power by taking two seats of the Lords of Terra, the Adeptus Administratum and Ministorum, effectively the logistics and ecclesiarchal wings of the Imperium. Using this absurd amount of power, he became the de facto ruler of the Imperium, declaring any opponent heretics deserving of slaughter. He recruited an all-female fighting force dedicated to the Emperor of Mankind, initially known as the Daughters of the Emperor and renamed the Brides of the Emperor. It was only once Vandire declared chapters of Adeptus Astartes traitors that Imperial forces rallied to overthrow him. Space Marines, alongside devout militias, attempted to take out Vandire nestled in the Imperial Palace, but their assaults were rebuffed by power-armored female warriors, the Brides of the Emperor. The slaughter was so brutal that the Adeptus Custodes stepped in, granting the leaders of the Brides an audience with the Emperor himself. After this audience, Alicia Dominica, the chief leader of the Brides, decapitated Vandire, ending the Reign of Blood. Vandire was able to command so much power not just because of the Brides, but because of the Fraterus Militia, warriors under the direct command of the Church. They were outlawed, but in a clever play on words, only men-at-arms were forbidden, allowing the Brides of the Emperor to continue as a military formation, renamed the Adeptus Sororitas, or the Sisters of Battle. While there are non-combat sisters that arguably outnumber the armed wing, the armed wing of the sisters are revered. They are recruited from the Schola Progenium, the war orphanage of the Imperium, and are selected for zealous worship of the Emperor and martial competence. The combination of fervent belief, elite training, and power armor has made the Sisters a terrifying formation to face, responsible for billions of slaughtered heretics, mutants, and aliens. These Sisters' white armor shows them to be of the Order of the Sacred Rose. They were formed in honor of one of Alicia Dominica's bodyguards, Saint Arabella, and are known for being even-tempered and stalwart in the face of hardship. We see an Aquila lander with what appears to be a sister novitiate, and several battle sisters go down in a crash. A cherub is seen crushed, and I'm happy to report that this is actually not an infant servitor, but actually a synthetic being created by the Mechanicus. We see a sister with a heavy bolter, a sister superior with a plasma gun who blasts off the head of an orc, and quite possibly the same sister ending an orc with a power sword to the skull. We all love Space Marines and Imperial Guard, but considering how good the sister from Pariah Nexus was, I'm very much looking forward to watching the Sisters of the Sacred Rose duking it out with orcs. The next cinematic features the Aeronautica Imperialis dogfighting Eldari flyers that are so quick they're difficult to identify. An educated guess is that at least one of the Eldari craft is a Nightwing, the Eldari Air Superiority Fighter, flanked by either Crimson Hunters or Hemlock Wraith Fighters. All of these craft are known for being sleek, fast, agile, and fearsomely armed, and serve complementary roles. The Nightwing is the air superiority without rival, routinely cutting down dozens of enemy aircraft without a single loss. The Crimson Hunter is likewise an aerial predator that clears the skies for the Eldari. The Hemlock Wraith Fighter combines psychic might with aerial combat using a Spirit Seer pilot to augment the fighter into a close air support monster. Imperial Thunderbolts heavy fighters seem to be on the back foot, getting blasted on the tarmac and blasted out of the air by the lithe Eldari craft. The Thunderbolts are no slouches though, with nose-mounted autocannons, nose-mounted las cannon, and wing-mounted missiles. They are famous for their heavy armor and superior thrust, allowing them to shriek into battle, take an incredible amount of punishment, while delivering a devastating response. We see Death Corps of Krieg and Orcs facing off again, which is welcome. The Death Corps are a fanatical Imperial Guard regiment whose planet turned against the Imperium. They nuked their own homeworld to maintain their honor, and they now seek penance in death. A Khorne Berserker, a heretic Astartes and servant of the Blood God, sprints across the battlefield looking for fresh slaughter. We get a behind-the-scenes look at motion capture, musical scoring, voice acting, and a glimpse of Astartes 2. It looks that at least part of the campaign will be Deathwatch Terminators escorting a mortal charge through hostile territory. Finally, we see Be'lakor, a greater demon of shadow, talking to his minion about beginning a ritual, heralding the end of Black Talon Season 2 set in the realms of Sigmar. All in all, it looks like an exciting few months, but I have one more thing to show you before we call it a day. This cinematic is from the game Darktide that has had a steady expansion of missions and playable characters. The narrative follows a shamed Imperial servant who is recruited into the Inquisition and climbs up the proverbial ladder to become a trusted gunslinger. Darktide focuses on the planet of Tertium that is currently dealing with a Nurgle-like cult and Chaos Guard insurrection. What's cool about adding gangers to the roster of playable characters is that it differentiates between outlaws and Chaos worshippers. A ganger might not be willing to bend the knee to the authority of the local enforcers or even the Adeptus Arbites, but they might still see themselves as ultimately loyal to the Emperor of Mankind. A couple of inquisitorial veterans and an Ogren are on the verge of being executed when a ganger announces their presence with a dragged crowbar. She uses the improvised weapon to introduce herself before switching to a pair of slugger machine pistols. The difference in 40k verbiage in gunpowder-based weapons is that sluggers use traditional cases, while auto guns and auto pistols use caseless ammo. Necromunda is a gang-based skirmish game with smaller units than Warhammer 40k that has a host of gangs with cool aesthetics. The Goliaths use performance-enhancing drugs to become monstrous beasts. Van Saar has a partial standard template construct that allows them to build and use high-technology body gloves, plasma guns, skimmers, and mech suits. House Caudor are a religious cult that believe in redemption through salvage. Delak are a gang of assassins, spies, and schemers always playing in the background. House Orlok is the security for deep miners and logistics personnel, creating a gang to make sure iron ore makes it where it needs to go. Escher is a gang made up of exclusively female warriors known for their speed, marksmanship, and use of poison. These are the main gangs, but with recent releases, you can also play as a cannibalistic corpse grinder cult, Votan squat prospectors, or even local enforcers, the equivalent of planetary cops. While this expansion isn't necessarily for me, I'm more of an Adeptus Arbites kind of guy, I do think it will be cool for fans of the skirmish game Necromunda to play as an iteration of their favorite gangs, and it should be a fun expansion. If you want to support the channel, please remember to like the video, share it with your friends, ring the bell for new videos, and comment for the comment gods. Your viewership helps me in the algorithm and is appreciated. Be sure to check out Counterpoint Sci-Fi and Counterpoint Star Wars. If you want to take your support a bit further, become a YouTube member or join us at patreon.com/counterpoints. Check out the other videos on the channel, support our sponsors, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until the end.